Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to the official Do Good Better podcast. This is a show for small nonprofits doing great big things. However, sometimes there's great activity going on with an even greater purpose. And when that happens, we throw the show notes out the window and we bring guests on because really important things happening, especially here in the Fargo Moorhead community where we are recording from. So I'm really excited about today's episode because we're going to talk about lunchaid. I'm very confused why we even have to have something called lunchaid, and we're going to rage against it here on the official Do Good Better podcast. But I would first like to welcome some of our guests. Yes, we have more than one guest today. That's what makes it even more special. We've got Dr. Jason Boynton. He is a professor of mathematics over at the North Dakota State University, which is awesome. We have Kari Lugo. She is a marketing and fundraising guru. I'm just going to call her out and say that out of the gate. And of course, we're going to wrap up our trio of guests here with Leola Daul. She is the founder of Heart and Soul Cafe. And we are going to talk about lunchaid 2020. We're going to start the show off. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being guests on the official Do Good Better podcast, everyone. But let's start with Jason. Yeah, this is awesome. But Jason, we're going to start with you. I don't want to say the brainchild, but we're going to start with you. We're going to give you the full credits on this. I like this. Why on earth are we talking about lunchaid on the official Do Good Better podcast? Give me the overview on how on earth this started.
So the origin story is I was on Facebook, outraged, something to be angry about, and I happened upon this news story, local news story about Fargo Public Schools holding a $26,000 debt for school lunch for the students, and I guess the outrageous part was that they were going to turn those students over to collections. And so I posted that story to my wall and just said, you know, in the caption, where can I donate? And then another musician friend of mine, Russell Pfaff, typed in the comment. I thought, wow, that's like a great idea. We do those all the time. You know, like I played a lot of benefit shows with Pat Leonard. He's really the one that sort of got this thing in my brain. And then Russell came along and certainly reinforced it. So my plan was just to have a concert. Maybe we would raise $5,000 if we were lucky. But then enter Kari Lugo, who is now the co-founder, co-producer of lunchaid, and she said, I can help you with this. And she made it a proper fundraiser. And so we were able to raise much more than $5,000. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass the baton to Kari. She can tell you how she knows what she is doing.
Love it. Passing the baton to a fundraiser. That's my jam. I like this. So So, Kari, you get this idea of doing a benefit show, and you say, my marketing and fundraising brain's on overdrive, and you take it from there.
Yes, well, I already knew that this community is extremely giving and willing to come out when people are in need. So I had that in the back of my head. Plus, you know, I've done fundraising for various different events. And when you put fundraising and music together, there's always going to be success.
Yes.
So we just kind of worked together and we both utilized whatever resources that we could come up with. Jason on the side of music and production and myself with fundraising. And it really just snowballed. Like before we even knew that we had an event, we had an event. And so it's kind of, you know, that's a good problem to have. And we had tremendous success from unions that would come out, and not only just unions, but community members that would just, you know, give $5 or $10 here or there. And then of course the culmination of the event, which in the end, I think we raised, you know, pretty close to $20,000. I'll round it up just a hair. But when you're starting out thinking, hey, let's just do a casual fundraiser and we'll raise $5,000. And then you come out the other end with 20 grand, it's kind of a telltale sign that something is right and that the need is strong in the community. And so we felt we just have to keep doing this, and this is our year 2. So this year we chose Heart and Soul Cafe, who feed people in our community, lots of families and elderly people. They feed them on the weekends with little bagged lunches, and they have little notes of encouragement in there. And they are looking to continue doing this to the end of the year, but if they don't receive the help from us, they'll run out of funding at the end of August this month. So Leola, if you want to tell them a little bit more about what you do and how lunchaid is trying to help feed the community.
Thank you. So Heart and Soul Community Cafe, we're a pop-up community cafe, so we move around town addressing food insecurity, building community, and serving delicious food. And when COVID started, we couldn't have our pop-ups anymore, and so we still wanted to fill a need in our community for that weekend lunch. And we did receive funding. Will be good till the end of August. And then I received a message from lunchaid from Kari, and they were interested in helping us make it to the end of 2020, and just so grateful that they reached out. You know, our lunches include a meat and cheese sandwich, fruit and veggie, chips, and a cookie. And so we really try to serve a hearty, healthy lunch. And as she mentioned, we have community members making cards also to go on the lunches, but we actually couldn't do it without our volunteers and with the support of the community. So we're very grateful when lunchaid reached out to us.
I love this combo platter, and I think especially because Leola not only sustaining people with basic needs, but I think the element of cards lifting up others. I think what COVID has really sort of done is expose sort of a mental health gap on needing people, needing community, and I think this one specifically, this Fargo Moorhead area, has always stepped up and done in that capacity. But to acknowledge that if I'm receiving something like this, I also might need a little soul lift up as well. And I think that's a really interesting problem. Jason, why are we even talking about this in the first place, where we've got to give out basic stuff? I know this gets into a lot of, oh, it's a left-right thing or whatever, but this is just basic humanity pieces here. And I think that's what the intriguing piece of what you're doing is. Everybody is probably going to experience some sort of need or whatever in their lifetime, and we're just helping others. It's not like a handout, this is a hand up. Why is this an issue? I don't know why this is an issue anymore. Explain kind of how we can make this go away in the simplest of terms, I guess.
Boy, that's a great question, and one that I certainly do not have maybe even the beginning of an answer. I just think, what is a budget? It's a priorities list, and we haven't prioritized food and or eradicating food insecurity. We haven't prioritized public health. We haven't prioritized public education. I think if we prioritize those things in the budget, then we wouldn't have to have this discussion. And until we do that, lunchaid will keep doing what we have to do. Heart and Soul Community Cafe will keep doing what they have to do. And that's it, right? Until we can't, it's probably not helpful to point a finger
right
as to what's causing it. All we can do is like vote and maybe run for office, and until any of those things sort of yield the good fruit, then we have to keep doing these good works in the community.
And Kari, part of the marketing and the fundraising aspect of this, there is right now an immediate need to help Heart and Soul right out of the gate, right? And so that gives, I think, the sense of urgency to this lunch aid performance is right there. We know that the clock is now ticking, and we've got an opportunity as a community to step up and say, no, we say nay to this clock. We're pushing that back a couple of months in the first place. And so how does this work, and what are we doing to promote lunch aid? We'll get to like where it is and how you get on and how you donate too, but how are we getting the word out on how people can help and make sure that this is now sustainable from now until the end of 2020?
What I've been using is lots of different tactics, but I think the most pressing thing that people are realizing is how large the need is, and that it's not a need in another state or another country, it's a need right here in our own county. And people, we tend to think we're fine here in the Midwest and everybody's going to do okay, but the truth is 1 in 4 children are living in a home that has food insecurity. 1 in 4 children. And so you line up 4 kids, and there we go. They're right in our backyard. They're our neighbors. They're our kids' friends. And so the need, I think, is doing most of the driving of this one, is that we don't really have to talk people into giving. We don't have to pull any strings. It's like, we're just doing what's a basic human responsibility. So yes, I like to think I have good marketing skills, but I think really just the need on this one is pushing the gas. And I mean, the community has been incredible. Again, this year, we're like, oh my gosh, are we gonna be able to do this? And then, we're like 10 days from the event and we're over halfway there. So I can't even thank the community enough. It's like, it's surprising, that people are continuing every single day. We've been doing this since the July 24th, so there's the worry about people getting tired of seeing the same old message, like, hey, I already gave you my money, quit bugging us. But I'm not seeing that at all. In fact, the donations are ramping up and the community is stepping up, and we're getting business sponsorships and from banks and unions and things like that. So I really think it's all wrapped up in the story and reminding people that where we live and that we take care of our own. So that's worked, and of course the music element helps too, having such tremendous talent and something to look forward to and fun, since 5 shows this is going to do over 4 consecutive nights. So everyone's just excited.
I'm very excited, and I always appreciate this community. I kind of roll my eyes because everyone's last minute. They always buy last minute tickets. They always last minute, but they always step up, and they always step up at the end, and that's what makes it so awesome. So, Leola, if the 1 in 4 kids in this community who have a food scarcity issue isn't enough, do you have some stories or some impact? Some stories that you've experienced as running Heart and Soul Cafe that we can really make a connection to somebody who's listening to this and saying, I need to make a donation immediately. Yeah, 1 in 4 is nice, but I need a personal story. Can you give us 1 or 2 that you've made a connection at Heart and Soul and on what that means and what you're providing somebody in the community here?
Well, like Kari says, lots of times it's your neighbor. Food insecurity is kind of hidden. You don't always know who's food insecure. And so some of the different families we've worked with COVID, they're not able to get out of their home to get groceries. They have kids at home. And so we have some families where we leave outside. The person may have a health condition where they don't want to have contact with people. That's one situation. Well, several actually, and then just the feedback we've received, just how grateful people are for the lunches and for the cards, and just saying, if I wouldn't have this lunch, I wouldn't have anything to eat for the weekend. And so it's stories like that keep our volunteers going, and it just really is valuable. So.
I think it's interesting that somebody is grateful for a lunch. And I think that when you think about that and how fortunate most of us are that have the ability to go grab lunch, or have something more than that for the entire weekend. I think that's a good baseline of operation for us, where if you are comfortable with having one lunch in a weekend, you should get on this whole lunchaid bit and support to the hilt as much as you can, and spread the good word on not only what Jason and his musicians friends are doing, but then supporting, Kari and sort of spreading the good word about how they can help, because it all comes down to helping Heart and Soul maintain their openness from now until the end of the year. So we've got lunchaid. Lunchaid, August 24th through the 27th. It is online. It is virtual. It is concerts from 7 to 8 every night that week. Jason, tell me a little bit about the bands, how people log on, what this whole thing is. How do we help?
So we've got 7 bands this year. I'm going to let's just do the roll call really quick.
Let's do it.
First, on Monday night, we've got Jessica Vine's band and Kwaisian Trailer. Kwaisian is a solo act with a loop station and a guitar and a ton of inner soul that he will put down when he does his thing. Everyone does. But I'm sort of new to Kwaisian. I just saw him perform at Joy Fest, and he's really good. I've seen Jessica Vines perform several times. I played some shows with Jessica Vines. She is awesome, extremely talented, extremely professional, and extremely busy. So we are like very thankful to have both of them on Monday night. On Tuesday night, and I'm probably going to switch Tuesday and Wednesday, but on Tuesday night, I think we have the Human Element together with the Shuttle. So the Human Element is a 4-piece band with Maddie J, Kari Steen, Brant Nemi, and Seth Holden. By the way, Seth Holden just got elected to Fargo Public School Board, and I think he is sympathetic with our mission. Maybe we can talk about universal school lunch in the Fargo Public Schools. So that's Human Element, and then they're going to be playing with the Shuttles, and that is fronted by Dan Miller, who you can see him at Schmidt Music in Fargo, and they're very good, rock and roll. And then Wednesday night, we've got the Stovepipes and Cold Sweat. I play in the band Cold Sweat. That's hip hop and like maybe some jam band feel to it. And then Stovepipes is rock and roll. They've got hit songs. I don't understand why they're not world famous anyway. So we can get a chance to see them on Wednesday night. And then Thursday night, we have local phenoms, Heart and Soul, the band, right? They play R&B music. It's fronted by the Shields family. I would say that they are pillars of the Fargo Moorhead community. They have a church. They also address food insecurity at their daycare center. They have a kitchen. And they have a huge daycare center called Children of Hope. So that's the Heart and Soul and the Shields family. And they were the ones that gave us our first food donation for Heart and Soul Community Cafe.
Awesome.
So they will put on an extraordinary show. They do every time. So that's the lineup, 4 nights. I'm really excited about the lineup. I think it's an hour of power for 4 nights.
That's it's fantastic, and that's a wonderful lineup. And if you wanted like the who's who of really great musicians, you literally have 4 days of them all in a row. Like it's just unbelievable. Kari, who do we need to thank? Who do we need to show gratitude for helping us put this on? And how in the heck do we watch it? Where do we go?
Well, first I want to just add to what Jason said, that we're going to have 2 hosts during this event that are going to be spurring donations the entire time, which is very important because we want sort of a telethon style event. So that's Dave Jacobs from Fox 107 and Barbara Ann, who used to be with KFGO. So they will be with us on those nights. We want to thank Livewire. We couldn't be doing this at all without them. And of course, Heart and Soul, Leola has been extremely easy to work with. She let me kind of take over her Facebook page and completely trusted me. So it's been nice to have open arms from them. And all the bands, you know, if they weren't stepping up again this second year, we wouldn't be able to do this show. So we're going to be announcing lots of community sponsors to give them fair shout outs. Each night, I believe, you can tune in to Livewire, and we will also have a link on our lunchaid page. I don't think it'll be hard to find what's happening on those nights, because the bands and lunchaid and Livewire, we're all going to be pushing it out, Heart and Soul Cafe. So it'll be pretty easy to find. You can either donate through Facebook, you can go to our page, or if you want to send a check to Heart and Soul Cafe, we will accept that as well. But we're encouraging online donations because we like to see the ticker going up, and you know, that's
that thermometer. Yeah.
Right. So that's a part of the marketing you were asking earlier, is people like to see the success, and it makes them excited, especially since we're doing this kind of like telethon style. So each night we really want to push, hey, what did we make tonight, and what do we need to make tomorrow night, you know, to make this a success. So
outstanding.
Thank you to you as well. I can't forget you for just inviting us. I mean, I emailed Patrick to ask him for a little bit of advice, and then came on with this nice invitation. So we're extremely grateful. Your support and everyone around this community is stepping up, and we're blessed.
This is one that you just don't say no to. I think that's really what this is about too. I think this is just everybody's on board. Let's get this done.
Boy, Patrick, you said it. You said it. You know what? We never hear the word no.
No.
I mean, we do, but it's so rare. I mean, over and over, and every time I'm amazed. Sorry, I just had to jump in there with that.
It's so true, though. I mean, this is where it is. And again, what I'd love to do is give kudos to everybody here, which is making an ask in the first place. It's really easy to go to Facebook and just talk about how crappy the whole situation is, about not providing food and basic necessities to people. It's great. You can do that all day. Congratulations, everybody who does that. It's really difficult to go out and do. And really what Leola has done, and really what the admiration that I think we all have for the whole Heart and Soul Cafe concept is there's an issue and I'm going to do something about it. And so I think supporting individuals like her and her organization who are boots on the ground, actually putting the hard work in to actually make this better, I think this is not a no situation at all. It'd be great. And if somebody's sitting on a giant sack of money right now and they're listening and saying, I can't even wait. I can't wait for August 24th, right? I can't wait for this. I need to go give Leola money now. I got to get everything out of my change jar. I'm going to give it all away. Leola, how do we get a hold of you, and how do we get a hold of Eva? I want to have a giant check, right? I want to give one of those away, whatever that is. How do they get a hold of you directly, just so we can add on Facebook the thermometer going up, or we add a matching gift, or somebody's listening to this and say, I want to give in a greater than $5 or $10 sort of bit. How do we get a hold of you?
First of all, thank you. The best way to get a hold of us is we have a web page, www.heartandsoulcafe.com, or they can email me at heartsoulcc@gmail.com. If they want to give me a call, that's fine too, 701-866-5394. But we're just so grateful for the generosity in this community. Volunteers, and even just the financial support is really amazing. And like Kari said, Jason, we live in a really generous community. So thank you.
We really do. And again, we're going to have all those links in the show notes. So go after this podcast, just pop out, go click on one of them, give a bunch of money, and then put on your calendar of events. You will go into August 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. From 7 to 8, We're going to listen to great music. We're going to have Livewire going to do the whole dang thing because they're great. They're going to stream this thing. And we're going to watch awesome musicians. We're going to give a lot of money to Heart and Soul Cafe. And we're going to make sure that they keep open well past 2020 as well. I cannot thank you enough for being on the official Do Good Better podcast. We're so excited to help promote this event. Leola, thank you so much for what you do, boots on the ground. Jason, thank you so much for taking the lead on this. And Kari, thanks so much for adding a fundraising element that I think we can all wrap our heads around and get behind. All of you guys are awesome. So I think everybody should go down and they should go and watch. They should do this. Appreciate you all being on the official Do Good Better podcast. And hey, if you're listening out there, go give a bunch of money and do it. August 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, and go give. Links below.
You can give money right now.
Yes, you can.
Give money right now.
Don't need to wait. You go give it right away. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you next time here on the official Do Good Better podcast. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.